Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 11 of the TCP podcast. I'm your host, Mackie, and tonight I'm joined by.
I'm Phil. How's it going?
And I'm Kaiser.
All right, and we've got a myriad of fun topics for you guys this evening. But first, we're going to start out with a semi controversial thing that is kind of going on right now. Gentlemen, we're going to talk about Spider-Man leaving the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I know we are mainly a gaming focused channel, but this is such a big deal just in nerd culture
Yeah.
that I feel like it needs to be addressed. So Kaiser, I want to hear your thoughts. Then we'll go to Phil, and then I'll trail off, if you will.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
first of all, also like the week prior to this announcement by Disney and Sony of their deal falling through, Sony announced that they purchased Insomniac Games, which just gives it even more like monopoly on the Spider-Man franchise as far as games go. So that's great. So anybody who plays on Xbox, just look forward to never playing a Spider-Man game ever.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. Spider-Man, the PS4 one, was never going to come to Xbox anyways.
Yeah, I know that, but like,
which is really upsetting because it's an incredible game.
Yeah, it hurts people. It hurts the fans more than it hurts like financially. Like it's just wild to see that you have to be on PlayStation to enjoy this character.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Sony doesn't really like their people that give them money, so that's pretty obvious with the way they treat Chaw. So
it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I don't lie. Like Sony is probably the most pretentious company ever, and they do it like they're the coolest guys in the world, and they're not.
Yeah. It's just it blows my mind the way they do their stuff. But I'm surprised where we're at with the Sony deal. Like it still hasn't been resolved. And it ultimately I think it has to be resolved. I don't think either studio can really go forward without Spider-Man, or Sony can't really go forward with a new Spider-Man again. Like it just doesn't make sense. Everybody's so invested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And Tom Holland said like he's down to continue playing Spider-Man whichever direction it goes, but I don't think that Sony, even though they say they believe they've gotten the knowledge from Kevin Feige about how to make a good Spider-Man movie, I don't think that they can do that on their own without it being tied in. Just because like that shared universe gives how do I say, like how kind of like how you go home, you're used to everything the way it is. Having that shared universe, you're used to as a fan, you're used to how those movies are and how they feel. And like when the first Spider-Man Homecoming had like Tony Stark in there, it just gave you more of a sense of like connectivity, even though he was in New York doing his own thing.
You're right. I thought about that yesterday, and I was like, you lose a layer of Spider-Man now.
Yeah.
And while it just seems like, oh, it's just one layer for Sony, for the fans, it's like, well, you don't get to see Happy, and you don't really know who's contracted Marissa Tomei. So there are characters that are like, oh yeah, well we're gonna keep. And I remember them saying they wanted to keep going and doing Spider-Man 3 and 4, and I was like, you guys have a terrible track record with doing Spider-Man sequels, but now we don't even know that you get Happy, who is supposed to be his new confidant, or Aunt May, who is Marissa Tomei, or you no longer have a reason to be sad because there's no Tony Stark. So, he's no longer sad about anything. But then you lose, like, they're cast members that I don't know that they get to keep, like Zendaya or his friend Ned. I don't know whose contract they're under. And if they're under a joint contract, they can't be used. So it becomes really bad because you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna keep going with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and you kind of can't because he's thoroughly locked into a story now. So what do you do? Like, it's a weird situation. And then I saw someone joking yesterday, and they were like, well, now since Tom Holland's no longer under Marvel, he can now play Robin for a DC movie, and I was like, this is miserable. This is getting out of control so fast.
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw a wrench into all this.
Ooh.
I think we talked about this in the past, but there was an interview that they did for Far From Home where they were talking about how, Mysterio brings up the multiverse, and he brings up the idea of, like, I came from a different Earth and all this different stuff. And then the interviewer asked Tom Holland, he was like, well, spitball me this. And he was talking about how crazy would it be if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man jumped out of a portal and the three of you fought a big villain together. And Tom Holland was like sweating it. Like, you could visibly see that the man was like, oh my god, they just read my mind, or something like that. So, conspiracy theory alert, but I think potentially this may have been in the works for a while,
You think
and
Sony
he
was laying
might
the
have.
groundwork?
I think he knew about it, and when someone brought up Sony properties as opposed to Marvel Studios properties, he was like, "Uh-oh, they know something." So Phil, you mentioned that they lose a bunch of layers. Now, does it make you feel any better that they gain a layer with Venom?
No, oh my god, don't do that.
See, okay,
That's the nastiest thing to add to something.
I really liked Venom, but not because I'm like a Venom fanboy, because I'm not. I imagine Venom fanboys were like, this movie is garbage, which I heard a lot of people come out of the theater that night saying that it was garbage.
It's a
But
buddy cop movie. Buddy cop Venom.
I liked it. It was fun. It was stupid. It was campy, but it was fun. And I was like, okay, I'd watch a sequel to this. Like,
for me, it ran into one of those things where it's like, you kind of just put the name of a character on a whole new thing and was just like, yeah, this is tight. And while I did, like, I thought the movie was a really cool buddy cop movie, because I like buddy cop movies. I never at one point in that, like, at no points during that movie was I ever like, oh, Venom is tight. I was like, oh, not Tom Holland, geez, Tom Hardy's killing this. This is pretty funny. Like, and then for right after that movie, they were like, oh, we're gonna do Morpheus, or what is it? Not Morpheus. Oh my god,
yeah,
Mobius.
you're right.
What is it?
Yeah, Mobius.
Yeah,
no,
the vampire.
No, it's Morpheus.
It's Morpheus. Yeah, all right. I'm going crazy. Yeah, all right, I'm like, all right. So we're doing him, which is interesting because at the time they didn't own Spider-Man. So now it's like, all right, they're trying to build a Spider-Verse,
right?
But
and it's Jared Leto.
Oh god, that's a hard pass, dude.
Pass.
I'm not good.
I will not be giving that
man
my money yet again. Kaiser, did you see Venom?
Yeah, I saw Venom. I liked Venom.
Okay. Did you like it for the same reasons I liked it, or did you like it because it was different?
I think I liked it for the same reasons that you liked it. It was just a fun movie, like,
yeah,
in itself. I don't think it made much sense because,
oh no,
he had, because I like the Venom as the symbiote gets powers from its hosts, but we hadn't seen Venom with Spider-Man in that universe, and it didn't make sense.
It was just weird.
So it's strange in that way. But
it was very weird, and the end where they revealed Carnage,
yeah,
and he's wearing the clown wig. I'm sitting here going like, okay, like, come on, guys.
I rock with Woody Harrelson like a lot.
I mean, yeah, Woody Harrelson's awesome, but when he's sitting there wearing a clown wig,
I was like, if you don't take this wig off your head, bro, oh my god,
it's like, next time it'll be Carnage, and I'm like,
I was like, shoot him.
Can we be at least a little more subtle about this? Like, yeah, Carnage is sick. Like, Carnage is terrifying. He's a serial killer, all this, or, his human counterpart is a serial killer. He's terrifying. But let's just, can we not just, like, show the dude in his cell? Like, do we have to say? Does he have to say the name Carnage?
Like Woody Harrelson is not a terrifying dude. Like that.
No.
I don't like just looking at that. I was like, yo, he looks like he's gonna break out and be the Joker, but
Mm-hmm.
like Jared Leto's Joker, just a weirdo,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's gonna get locked up, and that's gonna be the whole movie, and everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, Carnage was great, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I can't trust Sony to do anything anymore.
Nope.
But just watching Venom, I was like, Sony is not ready to have their own movies again. I'm so happy he's in the MCU. No. Later on, Sony's like, nah, bro, we got this.
Sony was like, give me 6 months.
Dude, it's such a wild thing. And then I remember I was talking to someone about this, and they asked me, they said, hey, so who loses more? Does the MCU fans lose more without Spider-Man, or does Spider-Man lose more going back to Sony? And I was like, I don't know. Kind of sucks because both companies have now walked themselves to this edge where they're all in on Spider-Man being that guy, and neither company kind of has that much to do now. Like it's weird. This is a weird situation.
Yeah. I feel like whoever has Spider-Man doesn't lose. Like Sony, like Spider-Man's not gonna flop with Sony. I mean, I guess it could because it has in the past, but like I just think casting and writing has been a problem. Not that Andrew Garfield wasn't great. It was just the writing of it was weird and the villains were weird. So if they can
second movie, dude.
If they can write a good villain for Tom Holland Spider-Man, then it can be good. If they can't do that, then it's gonna be bad. But people are still gonna watch it.
One villain. We have to start saying this, and I want to start telling everyone one villain. If Sony just gives him one villain,
no, you have
they'll
to have,
be okay.
You have to have Goblin as like a recurring villain, and then you have to have the antagonist of the film, and then Goblin kind of coming in, do his little attacks, and then go back.
We've seen Sony's multiple villain game. Every time they've done it, it has been hot garbage. Spider-Man 1, you're like, okay, cool, tight, Goblin. Spider-Man 2, you're like, Doc Ock, tight, all right. Spider-Man 3, they were like, yo, let me get Sandman, let me get Goblin, let me get Aunt Jemima, let me get everybody. And every time I'm like, dog, this is 2 villains too many. This is crazy. Then you watch Amazing Spider-Man 1 and you're like, yo, okay, 1 villain. Super interesting. Okay. That second one, they were like, yo, let me get Electro, let me get this dude and that dude and the third guy from off the back end. Like, oh, no. Too much.
Well, I want to make 2 points real quick. So, first, Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh.
Yeah, amazing. Sony done.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Multiple villains.
Right.
Interesting. We'll see if it continues. Point number 2 is that such is the plight of superhero movies. We're basing them off of monthly 18 to 36 page comic books. And the problem that we're running into with Sony that I don't think we had the problem with the MCU is that with the MCU we always knew that there was going to be more. Like there was always guaranteed. Like after Iron Man 2, oh boy, here's the Avengers. After the Avengers, we have Iron Man 3.
Ugh.
And then we don't have Iron Man 4, but we have Captain America Civil War.
Woo.
So but like the thing about it is that Sony is in such freaking unknown territory right now. Like they're a toddler in a fireworks store with their property, and they're lighting matches and running around. Whereas in the MCU, like, dude, D23, they're announcing She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, dropping costumes for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, dropping Star Wars stuff.
They're going off, dude. Like, and this is like abrasively dope. Like,
and yeah, like everything in it is like, oh, I want to watch that. Oh, I want to watch that. Oh, I want to watch that. So the problem that we're having is that like Marvel's on their game. They have not dropped their game. And Sony, we
At
have seen
all.
dropped the ball multiple times.
Yeah, man.
I don't even think
And
Sony knows it's a ball, guys. Honestly, I think they think it's a square.
Like
And
man,
it just
all we need is Sony to sell the rights, just full on sell the rights to Marvel for Spider-Man with like take a fat royalty. Like just let Marvel pay you like 8 cents to the dollar for anything that Spider-Man is in and makes money. Just like take that, let them run with it, because solo superhero movies do not succeed, and they will not succeed.
They don't.
Yeah.
Here's an idea. Why don't
X-Men.
they split it 50-50? Which is what Disney's idea was, and Sony was like, nope.
I didn't read the article.
It's so crazy, because I know they were saying, well, we'll go half and half with everything. We'll split the movie costs. We'll split, I think merchandising was going to be split at that point. They were doing everything. They were going to go 50-50 straight out. And I was like, oh, that sounds smart. And someone was like, no, why would that be smart? Sony owns Spider-Man. And I was like, yeah, but if you're using my fans and you're using my lore and you're using my skill set, why do you reap all the benefits and I get the merchandise?
Yeah.
No, Chief, you can have 50% of that, and I'll take 50% of the $400 million.
It's crazy.
We just raked in.
Like, Marvel, I might be like a little wrong on the facts, but I'm pretty sure they only made 5% of opening day sales.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So the deal that they had was it's the deal that like actors cut when they're super confident about a movie. I can't remember what the deal is called, but like Leonardo DiCaprio did it for Inception, and that they only get a cut of opening day sales. However, with Spider-Man Far From Home, I mean, it's Sony's largest. It's their biggest movie of all time.
They didn't even make it.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's
what I found interesting. They paid for it,
yeah,
but they didn't do anything. Like you didn't use anything. You don't own Iron Man, so you're capitalizing on all of the MCU's magic, and all of a sudden you're like, no, we're gonna pull it out, and those people will still watch over here.
Do they own Mysterio?
No, I don't. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what they own, because it's really weird how everything broke up back when Marvel was selling off people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who. Like, they may own the Spider-Man lore.
Yeah.
But
not the character Mysterio or something.
There's only so much you can do with that, and it doesn't work in a world where we now know that team-ups and cross-platform whatevers can work between companies. You can't say, "Nah, this is mine."
Right.
I
gotta be honest though. The scenes with Mysterio where Peter was in like the warehouse parking lot or whatever, and Mysterio was just like completely ruining his mind. I was sitting there with my Whitney was like, "Are you okay?" Because my jaw was in my lap. I was like, "This is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted Mysterio to be." And it's amazing.
I didn't ask you guys. After watching that, 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
Oh, it's my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Hands down. I think it was a 9.
Including Spider-Verse or not? Excluding Spider-Verse?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Excluding. Spider-Verse is an 11 out of 10.
Jeez.
No, I have watched Spider-Verse 23 times.
Oh, dog, it's worth it. Every watch is always fantastic.
And I always catch something new when I watch it. It is hands down my favorite, I think, animated movie that's like not necessarily for kids.
I don't know. DC kills it with animated movies, so I don't know.
No, they can't put a candle to Miles Morales. Nope.
The Red Hood? You don't think that movie was, as a Batman fan, Mackie? I am shocked.
So Red Hood is about a 8.5 out of 10 for me, and Spider-Verse is an 11 out of 10. I will stand by that. I will light a fire. I will murder anybody. That would be bad. But I will stand by my my thoughts there.
I'm not mad at it because Spider-Verse was 100% one of the best things I've seen in a very long time.
Yes.
I just find it interesting that you didn't think Red Hood deserved that fight. Like, that's an interesting spot.
Nah.
I've been rewatching the Batman animated movies recently, so I'm still in all of those things. So it's all right. I'm not mad at that. That's a pretty big claim, dude. But I'm not. But I'm not mad at it because it is that good. It's good enough to sit up there with any DC movie and be like, "Yo, dude, Spider-Verse, what's up?"
Man, as I watch more and more of the MCU and read more and more Marvel comics, my draw towards DC is diminishing greatly. But
Ooh.
I will forever be a Batman fan. He will always be my absolute favorite hero. So that won't ever change. Kaiser, have you seen Into the Spider-Verse? Because part of me is telling me you haven't.
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw
Okay,
it.
thank God. Because I was about to come through the microphone and make you watch it right now.
Yes.
Because it's incredible.
It's on Netflix. I've seen it.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, it's on Netflix. But quick funny story about Into the Spider-Verse. The first time I watched it was... Maybe I shouldn't tell this story. In my physics class...
Oh.
I had a class of just 3 students last year. And we were getting into quantum mechanics and quantum physics, and I was like, you know what? We could watch Ant-Man, but I don't particularly like Ant-Man. So I said, well, my phone almost just fell. I said, well, this Spider-Verse movie just came out. Let's watch that. So I rented it from Redbox and accidentally clicked the multi-extended version. So
I haven't seen that.
It was 3 hours long, and it has like hand-drawn portions to it.
Oh wow!
And there are scenes that are half animated, and it fills in the backstory of him and his roommate, because they go back and find the spider that bit him and stuff, and that's not even in the movie.
That's tight.
In the movie, he at the end he's like, I finally met my roommate, and they fist bump. But in the multi extended edition, they have a falling out because he's like, dude, you gotta be Spider-Man, and Miles is like, I don't know if I can be. So it's it's got a whole different meaning to it so audience, Phil, Kaiser, Cam, if you're listening, if you haven't watched it, you have to go see the extended edition because it is so good. And like I said, I watched that first and was like, I didn't realize there were going to be hand-drawn things in this movie. And then later one of my students in that class was like, yo, Mr. Mackey, that wasn't in the theater.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't. I saw it in theaters. And I saw it on a whim, and I was like, oh my God, that was maybe the best thing I'll see for the rest of this and next year.
And I was so skeptical about it too. I'll just be totally real. I didn't watch it in theaters.
Everyone
I was like, this is going to be so lame. It's going to be for kids. I hate the animation, all this stuff. And then I watched a trailer and was like, this is like watching a comic book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing. And then I saw it, and I've been reading Miles Morales comics ever since.
Nice.
And he's incredible. But
Miles is dope.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Miles is my favorite Spider-Man.
What?
Yeah. Man, we could talk about Spider-Man all day.
Yeah,
but
right.
We got to get to another topic.
Let's bring on the newness.
Another topic. Yes. So, Kaiser, last time you and I recorded, we did a Pokemon personality identification.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So, Phil.
Uh-oh.
What do you think, and this is a quick little topic, what do you think Pokemon lines up with your personality to a T? Not necessarily the Pokemon that you want to be, or the one that you think is cool, but which one do you think that you are? And if you haven't listened to the cast with Kaiser and me, which ones do you think we are?
Okay. Oh, that's tough. Ooh.
We had to dig for Kaisers.
It wasn't that much of a dig.
No, it was a finding exactly what he was akin to.
Kaiser, I would put in the ice type bracket, probably like a Sneasel or a Weavile.
Okay.
So I'd probably slide him that way.
So he's not like crazy far off with the name.
Hold on. All right. Let me see. All right, so let's see.
Wait, what was the first one you said?
He said Sneasel or Weavile, which is the evolution of Sneasel.
He's very close.
And,
in sound. I don't know about
right?
actual like actual.
So if you think about Kaiser's personality,
right?
Because like Sneasel is like, I'll just be frank, he's kind of a tool.
See, I was gonna say cool. Like the reason I put Kaiser in that bracket just is because every time I've ever seen or dealt with a Sneasel, it's been very, very smooth. It's very reserved up until that last second, and then it's like bang. And
that's fair.
And so I've always given Kaiser that really cool exterior where he's really, you won't know what Kaiser's thinking until he says something or does something. And you're like, oh, that's different. All right. So that's why I have him with Sneasel.
Interesting. Kaiser's like, I don't know what y'all are talking about.
No, I'm not in my head. I'm not in my head.
Who did you guys get? Wait. Who did you guys give Kaiser?
Kaiser, do you remember the name?
Snivy.
Yes.
Snivy. Okay. I could give you You know what? I can see that. I can rock with that.
Snivy is the most sarcastic of the Pokemon that we could come up with.
As soon as you said it, I was thinking about the show, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I got it."
Yeah, because Snivy straight up does not listen to trainers. Snivy, the trainer will give Snivy a command. It will look back, laugh at them, and then go to take a nap.
Do its own thing the whole time.
Yes. So that's what we determined for Kaiser. Yeah.
Mac, you're a little tougher.
Oh, really?
Happy, jolly.
Man, I think I'm pretty easy. I came up with mine pretty quick.
Alyssa keeps whispering Jigglypuff. I won't disrespect you like that. I won't disrespect you like that.
All right, Alyssa. shout out to Alyssa here on the cast. One day we'll have you on, Alyssa.
One day. Oh.
By the way, I miss you and I love you and I hope you're doing well.
Oh, see, she's gonna listen to the podcast. I'm not gonna tell her what you just said.
There you
go. Okay. Mackie, you're tougher. You're tougher.
Mine has to do more with my obsessions, with my input rather than my output. Let's just put it that way.
Who'd you think for yourself?
So, do you think I should tell him Kaiser, or should we let him guess?
I don't know if he'll guess. I think he's kind of off on a different.
I want to hear your guess. I want you to guess once. Just throw it out.
Okay.
Just pick one, and we'll see where it goes.
See, in mine, I don't know. I'm trying to think. See, what's wild is I keep coming up with, and you'll think I'm crazy, Beware.
Beware?
That's where I got you, bro. I'm sorry, I can't.
So, Kaiser will have to send you.
That picture's gonna be wild for Kaiser.
I'll have to send you the picture of the Beware. But it is a cute, cuddly, large teddy bear-ish Pokemon.
My gosh.
So, Phil, I chose a Munchlax for myself.
Alyssa said Munchlax, and she said Snorlax.
Because of the amount of food that I constantly consume. But I'm not quite ready to be a Snorlax yet.
Eviolite.
Yes, I am a Munchlax holding an Eviolite. So that was what I came up with. So now it is your turn, my friend.
Oh no.
Or Kaiser, do we pick for him? Is that how this works?
Yeah, let him give an example.
Okay. And then we'll go in.
Yeah.
All right. See, mine's a little tougher
Okay.
because I'm torn. I had two things that popped into my head immediately. One was Electabuzz, and the
Okay.
other was Torkoal.
Okay.
Um, neither of which were the guy I want to be, but both kind of match that. I don't know. Both kind of match my vibes on different days. There's no fusion of the two. But if I have to choose one, I'll go Electabuzz. I'll go Electabuzz. I'll pick that.
Torca Buzz.
Torbuzz. Oh, that would be fire.
Torbuzz.
A beautiful fire electric type with a shell on the back.
That would be cool.
Oh, okay.
So, who I think I would give to Phil
Mm.
would be a Machamp.
Hey, we'll take it.
Because Phil, straight up, is one of the strongest people I've ever met. And I say that because I've seen him move boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Phil can lift.
I get busy.
But also because he like, and I don't want to get like, too much into Phil's personal business and stuff, but Phil served in the military, and I just see a Machamp as someone who like stands up for somebody,
I'll take
and
it.
I feel like Phil is because I've never also seen Phil not stand up for someone, and like especially like I said with the military aspect, like you're standing up for the little guy, and so strength and perseverance and just being there with that strength with all four of them arms.
Bang, bang. Oh, I can't do the other setup. Yeah, we'll take that.
But yeah, that's what I think. So
I'll take a Machamp. Machamps are dope.
I like
they
that.
are.
That was a good explanation and good reason for that.
We'll get into Cam another night because Cam's
buddy.
got to be here for his.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, Cam's a unique dude too, so this is something I would love to sit down on.
I have ideas. Nothing is solid yet, but I like I said, I definitely have like thoughts on like several that I could choose, but
Okay.
that's just me. So.
Cool.
You know what? My thought for Cam is weird. It's weirdly funny. I'll make sure to text you that way when he can hear it when he's here. That way you guys can see what I'm thinking.
Oh, for sure.
But
For sure.
Okay.
All right. So we are gonna take a quick break. Right. And we'll be right back. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial on us. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can listen on your iPhone, Android phone, Kindle, or even your MP3 player. For our listeners, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day free trial in order to give you the opportunity to check out their service. We recommend you check out Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. It's one of our favorites. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/TCP podcast. Again, that's audibletrial.com/TCP podcast for your free audiobook. And now, let's get back to the cast. All right. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to episode 11. We just finished up a discussion about our Pokemon personalities. So stay tuned for our next podcast with Cam. And we're going to go ahead and do his Pokemon personality as well. But our possibly final topic for the evening, I should say, is on time. And how much time we unfortunately don't have to play games. But I want you guys to think of one game that you haven't beaten yet. and it could be because of time. It could be because, other games came out, other things like that happened. But I just want you guys to think about one game that you haven't beaten yet because of reasons. Let's just leave it at that. We'll call this section reasons, okay? And I'll start with mine, if you guys are all right with that.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's
Give
see
you
it.
guys a little bit of a chance to think. Phil, you might tear your heart out, or should I say, take your heart out. So,
No.
my game is Persona 5.
No.
Here, heard Alyssa in the background go,
Right.
what?
Right. Nosy.
So, Persona 5 is hands down in my top 5 games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
The characters are hyper realistic. The setting is absolutely incredible, something that I've never encountered in a game before. And it's a world that I absolutely fell in love with from the first second that I started playing the game.
Oh God, it's so good.
And yet, after my son was born,
fair enough.
I have not returned to the game. And for those of you who don't know, Mason is now 14 months.
Jeez.
So yeah, I know, right?
That was fast.
Blows my mind every day. But literally, I got to the palace where Makoto awakens.
Ooh, and she's a beast.
And she pulls up. It's been so long I don't even remember her persona's name, but it's a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And when she summons her, she just swings her leg up, and the motorcycle runs underneath her, and she knows it's going to be there.
She's a thug.
It's amazing. But
she's a thug, yeah.
Like I said, I spent probably 35 hours with the game, and was hands down just like, this is already one of my favorite games of all time.
Well, you had time, too. You had a lot of time left to go.
Yes, and that's the thing, is that I've heard Persona 5 is minimum about 120 hours.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to Whitney about this. I was laying there, I was like, you know what? I should probably go back and play Persona 5. But I also, now, going back and playing Persona 5 is almost, daunting.
I was just about to say, that's probably the most daunting thing about certain games of that caliber that are that good. You're like, dude, I love it, but...
Because I'm terrified now.
It's a beast.
I'm almost scared that, I've built it up in my mind to this almost, godly expectation of just, this game is the best game ever. And I'm going to go back and play it, and it's going to be it's 9 out of 10 what I thought it was, but it's not the 28 out of 10 that I was building it up to be. But it's a game that I will most definitely go back to at some point in my life.
Don't forget, Royal comes out next year.
Man, I feel like I gotta beat the first one before I get Royal, but I know it's the same game, and they added in they add in an extra palace and an extra character, but I feel like I need to enjoy the game in the way that it was originally intended first.
Okay,
if that makes any sense.
It does. I understand.
But yeah, so Persona 5 is my game, and I've got a couple other games too. Kingdom Hearts 3 is up there. I tweeted about that recently. I hardly ever tweet, and I was like, I really should go back and play it, but I just have zero motivation to.
I just don't want to.
Man, I just don't. I had to take an emotional break from Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that is for reasons we'll talk about on another podcast. But yeah, Persona 5 is a game that not only just due to time, but reasons, if you will, that I haven't been able to muster up the courage to go back to.
Cool. Well, I know I'm kind of known for not playing games, here on our gaming channel.
Well, I figured this might be a good topic for you.
Okay.
So like, I've played a lot of Rocket League. No story there. Nothing really to beat. Same thing with Fortnite. But I recently, this week, started a new kind of thing that I want to do where we play games we don't typically play.
Yeah.
And I played Monster Hunter
Shout out
World.
for Kaiser Streams, by the way.
Thanks.
Bang. I saw you doing your thing on there.
Yeah. We played Monster Hunter World. Then played Wargroove, I believe. Then For the King. And then lastly, we played Brawlhalla, which is like a Super Smash-esque game. It's been out for longer than I thought it had been. But
Brawlhalla's been out for a minute.
Yeah, it's been out for 4 years, I think. It's crazy.
It's got the Hyper Light Drifter character in it, too.
It's got what?
The Hyper Light Drifter character in it.
What is that?
It's another game.
Oh,
sorry.
Cool.
Finn and Jake coming soon.
Yeah. And then it's got the Adventure Time characters, Finn and Jake.
Huh. Interesting. Well,
yeah.
So I played all those games, and I know to much disappointment, I didn't really care too much for Monster Hunter World. Didn't care too much for Wargroove. But
man, I don't care too much for Wargroove, and that I'm a tactical strategy nut, so
okay, thank God. I hated. I did not want to say that.
No,
but
it's trash.
As good as I wanted Wargroove to be, it's not Advanced Wars.
No.
Like, I just was. I think I got super bored, and I hated waking up like that. I woke up extra early the day it came out. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be so good. And like an hour in, I was like, oh, what?
Dang.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put on some TV or something.
But
now
I started playing For the King.
Yeah!
And I was like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna like this. This is a lot of words, and I'm not good with those.
Yeah, For the King.
But I read the words, and then I was like, this makes sense. And then I started playing it, and I was like, this is nice. And I was like,
King is dope.
Oh, it's gonna be kind of stale with the way they do this and that, but it wasn't. Like, I put it on the hardest difficulty because I just had the lowest expectations for it and didn't really care if I was gonna lose. But then I lost my first two characters, and I was like, how do I revive them? What do I do? And I realized I didn't have any revives, so I had to, like, win, I think. I don't know. But
yes.
But finished that game, and I was like, I need to play this more. So got on with Chandler and Mason later, and we played, and we haven't been able to beat it because just with our schedules, like I'm an hour behind you guys. So
right,
if I'm like working weird hours, then I just don't get a chance to play. So like that's going to be an issue, just getting that game completed with having everybody on at the same time. But I really look forward to that. We went through the dungeon, and I thought that was like just the coolest thing, just going from fight to fight to fight.
It's so cool. Like
yeah.
For the King is the best non-talked about game this year, and it's so crazy to me.
Funnily enough, we've talked about it like 3 times on the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right.
All of us, all of the Cricket Party is like, this game is fire, and more people need to play it. I think Cam described it best. He said it's simplified D&D.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
And it is perfectly simplified. Like it is the best of D&D visually on a screen that's playable for a short amount of time, and it's perfect.
It's just so dope. You feel the story, and you wouldn't think with as simple as it starts out that you'd really get hooked into everything that happens. But the more you do, the more you're like, all right, my guy can take that, but why don't y'all come with me? All right, let's get up here. Let's try to do this. And like I know me and Alyssa played, and we ended up just going out and doing stuff, and we were doing like the high tide one, and it was like, all right, you guys got like one water counter left before we just flood the whole area. And I was like, yeah, let's hit all the water towers.
Yeah.
And after doing that, of course, they were like, yeah, you cleared the map, but another wave coming. I was like, crap. No! Like it's so entertaining. Unlocking new characters is wild. because you have to play.
Yeah.
And the more you play, the better it gets. So yeah, I'm glad you like that one, Kaiser.
Yep.
That's super dope.
And
Like,
it's on Game Pass, so
it is on Game Pass. I love Game
Yeah.
Pass.
So I have it on Switch, and it runs at like 22 frames per second. Like, it's not perfect. Like, it's playable. It's definitely playable, but it's not where it needs to be for me. So when I saw that it's on Game Pass, I was like, uh-oh.
Okay.
Like, this is gonna be gorgeous and fun. Like, before it was like, I could forgive this game for being not top-notch visually on the Switch because it's freaking fun. But now, it's gonna be beautiful because it looks like dioramas. Like, it looks like claymation almost dioramas of, or like wooden, like chiseled characters.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
Yes.
I was gonna say before you said that, Mackie, I was like, all right, I'm gonna tell them not to judge me, but I definitely have it on my Xbox and my Switch and got hours in on both consoles. Like,
I just have the Switch one played, but I've got it downloaded on the Xbox.
I actually found it on Xbox first, and then I was like, what? This is dope. And Alyssa was like, well, I wish we could play it mobily. And I was like, all right, I'll look on the Switch. And there it was. And I was like, cool, have this money. That's fine. You deserve this.
That's my favorite thing about the Switch, is just the fact that you can do everything that you can on the TV in your hands. But that's for another podcast, because we could talk about the Switch for days.
We can stretch the stretch.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So that means it is my turn to tell you guys. And mine's an oldie, but it is...
That's fine.
Well, I mean, it's Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay, yeah. Kaiser, have you played that one?
No.
See, I haven't played it, but I've watched my brother-in-law play the intro about 4 times, and then I've seen him play like the middle portions. It's awesome.
It's beautiful. The gameplay feels great. Everything, like, I have nothing negative to say about it. But there's always another game. It'll be like, I'll get into it and I'll get to a certain point and I'll be really enjoying it, and something will come out and I'll be like, all right, cool. Let me just start it up and mess with it for a little bit, and then I just don't go back. And I've restarted that game, I think 3 or 4 times now. And every time I'm like, this game's fire. Why don't I just beat this? And then something comes out and I'm like, oh, okay.
This is why.
I know what this is now.
Yeah.
So
I bought it when GameStop. I actually bought it and Spider-Man on the same day. Because Spider-Man was 20 and the complete edition of Horizon was 10. I was like, I can't walk out of this store without putting $10 down and getting the complete edition of Horizon. They're basically giving it away.
Yeah.
So it's still in the shrink wrap, but it's on the shelf.
It's such a good game, dude. I just don't. I don't know why. I just don't push it. I just don't.
That's because reasons.
Phil. Yeah.
That's the point of this segment, man, is that, like, we all have these games that we have almost built up this thing in our heads where it's like, this game is amazing. It's potentially never going to get played again. Or if it does get played again, I'm going to restart it with the truest of ambitions of fully completing it.
Yeah.
And it just, you get to almost either where you were before or like one step further, and you're like, hey, that new shiny thing that just came out, let me get it.
And at this point, I'm just like, all right, cool. Because every time I look at the schedule of games coming out, I'm like, fuck, I don't have time. I can't go back. I'm sorry. Not yet.
Yeah, definitely. It's, I mean, the games, and this can be our final thing that we talk about. It's just the games coming out this next month,
brutal,
in September, because you guys will be listening to this late August. I mean, it is, yeah. Phil, you said brutal.
Brutal, dude.
It's medieval freaking warfare, and
goodness.
Like, I'm having to, I gotta pick one. I can only pick one because it's just, I don't want to spend like $400 on games. Like
it's so much.
I can't spend $400. So
Jeez.
Whitney and I decided that we're gonna do Borderlands 3.
Hey.
It was between, like, I narrowed it down between Monster Hunter Iceborne or Borderlands 3, and because we can play it together, I decided we were going to do Borderlands. So, Iceborne will have to wait.
Like, the volume of bangers that come out in September.
Well, I guess Astral Chain is Friday, so. But that's close enough.
It's pretty close. Yeah, I was about to say it's pretty close. Like it's edge of August. So
yeah.
God, and even starting from there, you still have what? Dragon Quest. You have NBA 2K. You have Borderlands. You have what else is on this board over here? Nino Kuni. Like Jesus, Nino Kuni on the Switch. You
Monster
know that's
Hunter
my
World,
game.
Iceborne.
Oh God. Greedfall. I've been looking at games. Greedfall, and oh my God, like there's just too much.
Kaiser, are you interested in any of these?
None of those. I'm looking at the list right now that's coming out.
No Borderlands for you?
No Borderlands.
No, Kaiser's not a big Borderlands fan.
Now, is Gears next month too?
Oh man, Gears 5, September 6th.
Oh my God.
Or I'm sorry, September 9th. Game Pass members get it the 5th.
Oh yeah, Game Pass actually gets it early, doesn't it?
4 days early.
Oh my goodness!
I'll be playing that one for free.
And see,
there's
even with that, I still like the Hori controllers, the Pro controller Joy-Cons. Those come out September 6th.
Yep.
Dude, I was like, please, just...
So much comes out. Kaiser, you and I still need to do our playthrough of Gears of War.
Oh yeah, that's true. Dude, there's a new Star Wars game coming out in November.
Yeah. Same day as Pokemon, so I was like, dang, that's a hard sell.
It's Pokemon.
It's not a hard sell at all. It's a Star Wars game. Exclusively.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to have to take some time off from Modern Warfare, grinding game battles to play some of that.
When does Modern Warfare drop? Please say October.
I think it's October. Let me just double check this real quick.
28th?
No.
Not late October, no way.
I thought it was late.
I thought it was mid-October.
Initial release date September 12th? No.
Mackie doesn't know. I don't think it's September. What?
No.
Who's getting these facts? This isn't facts.
Mackie's looking it up.
Oh.
What in the world?
That's not real. That can't be real.
If that is, dude, I gotta put in
cry.
my 2 weeks notice before it's too late. October 2019. It doesn't.
It just says October.
Oh well, guys, that is a terrible date. But I'm not mad at October because the only thing I have that I really have coming out in October.
October 25th.
I was so close. It's October 25th.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ghost Recon might be good.
No, it can't be that October, Mackie. No.
I'm really trying to play that Jedi game. That's gonna be nice.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Fallen Order.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm not like head over heels for is because I know how it ends, and you can't like sell me wolf tickets because I know how it ends.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, there's no way he lived.
He's gotta die.
There's no way he lived because if he lived, where is he unless he shows up in Rise of Skywalker?
Oh,
if he does, I'm literally going to jump off a bridge.
I don't think he will.
Is this the game that was like teased at E3 about the guy who like isn't supposed to use the Force and then he uses the Force to save his friend? Is that a TV show that's coming out?
Maybe.
I don't know.
So this is it's called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and it's about like the Last Jedi, like that organization, or I'm sorry, I almost said Organization 13. Oh my god.
Not those guys.
Yeah, Order 66 has not taken out yet.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe he does save his friend in the trailer, and they're like, "There is,
yeah,
last job."
Like they're trying to hide it from everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It might not be.
It stars. I can't remember. Jerome something. No. I'm sorry. His name's Jerome on Gotham.
Yeah, I was about to say it's the kid from Gotham with Forrest Whitaker in there too. I do believe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Forrest Whitaker's Saw Gorilla.
But see, isn't that weird? Because we now know, like this is such a
we know he's dead.
He's dead. Yeah, so this has to
in Rogue
happen
One.
before you get even anywhere near episode 4, which means there's what, 10 years between 3? No, it's more than 10 years. How much is that? 18 years between 3 and 4?
I don't know, man. I'm a fan, but I'm not like pulling out the timeline. We can call my buddy Sam, who we did the side quest with.
Yeah.
he could tell you.
My fandom for Star Wars has actually been going down.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like mine too. Endgame was more like on my radar than any Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved The Last Jedi. I loved it. And everybody was like, "This movie sucks," and I was like, "Nah, it's whatever. It's all subjective." I loved it.
It was a shoulder shrug, like that one. And you know what's funny? I think that movie would have hit better for me if what was the one before that? The Force Awakens wasn't A New Hope.
Oh, see, I loved it. I didn't even care.
I can't. The New Hope has always been my weakest Star Wars movie. Like watching it, I remember watching it with my dad, and I was like, "This is not it. Like this is not it. If you're trying to sell me Star Wars, just won't get it." Then I watched that Empire Strikes Back, and I was like, "Oh, well, you have my attention once more. This is fire." And then Return of the Jedi is still my favorite Star Wars movie ever.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we are we're hitting the end here. We're starting to ramble. So thank you guys so much for listening. This has been episode 11 of the TCP podcast. I'm your host, Mackie.
I'm Kaiser.
And I'm Phil.
And we will catch you guys in the next one. We'll be more coordinated next time.
See
y'all have a good one.